Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7 p.m. on LA56.
Startling new information about a father and two children killed in a crash on the 5 freeway. Tonight, neighbors who knew the father are speaking out.
Southern Californians bracing for another round of rain, wind, and cold. What you can expect and when.
Tension at a police commission hearing following a wave of protests in downtown Los Angeles and the arrests of hundreds of people. Good evening, I'm David Ono.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. We are learning more about the father and two children just 9 and 5 years old killed in a crash in Castaic. As Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth tells us, investigators believe it was a murder-suicide.
Al was really nice. I'm really shocked.
Kelvin Parham is shocked to hear his neighbor, 46-year-old Alan Edwards, and his two young children were killed in a car crash after midnight yesterday. He's horrified the tragedy is being investigated as a murder-suicide.
Surprised by anybody doing that. I'm really shocked.
Homicide detectives say Edwards deliberately killed himself and his two young children by slamming his car at a high rate of speed into the back of a parked truck on the 5 freeway in Castaic.
All what he was going through that possibly kind of made him snap. And to me, it seems like an acute case of depression.
Parham says Edwards was on the losing end of a nasty custody battle over his children with his estranged wife, and he was being forced out of his home.
Well, he was on the verge of being homeless. No job. He wanted, I think, joint custody of the kids. That didn't happen.
I think it's terrible. Very terrible. Me being a parent of 3, I'm speechless. That's too close to home. That's right next door.
Leo Stallworth, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A big story tonight. Californians preparing for the next storm heading our way. Throughout our state, maintenance crews are working 12-hour shifts, finishing cleaning up the debris from last week's storm. They're out making sure all the drains are clear and making sure the pumping facilities are in operation and ready to go.
And here at home, crews were out today clearing out the debris basin in the foothills of Glendora. Last week's downpour filled it with mud and rocks. Public Works officials say the work is critical, but they're confident the basin will do its job to protect communities.
We're very confident this entire system is built to withstand that and that type of event. So, the system will work. It functions the way that it's designed to do.
The Colby fire burned nearly 2,000 acres 11 months ago. Mudslides have been a concern ever since.
And we're all pretty anxious to find out when this storm is going to hit Southern California. And for that, let's go to meteorologist Jonathan Novak.
Less than 48 hours from now, Colleen, we will start seeing the rain move into Southern California. Already in portions of Central and Northern California, flash flood watches have been issued for tomorrow night on through Friday. Even a blizzard warning for portions of the high Sierra. Now look at the pink. This is a winter storm warning that is in effect for the Sierra down south, all the way just edging into the northern portions almost of our counties. Now that will most likely be extended south as we go in through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That is the time frame, those 3 days of our storm system. In the meantime, high wind watches and warnings already in place as this storm starts brewing. It's off to the west of us getting going. And as we go in through the next 36 to 48 hours, again, the rain potential increases. Looks like we could see 1 to 4 inches of rain. We've got a lot more to talk about, but again, potentially flash flooding, mud flows, and in the burn areas especially, we have that risk and potential for street flooding. Also, snow is in the forecast with this system. I'll tell you more about that, how long it lasts, and how much rain overall we will expect coming up in that full forecast.
Well, that's a big one. All right,
Yeah.
Jonathan, thank you. See you soon.
Okay.
Wild weather in the Northeast. A slow-moving nor'easter is causing flooding from Connecticut to New Jersey. A nasty mix of rain, sleet, and high winds has led to dozens of accidents. At least one person was killed in a crash involving 5 tractor-trailers and 2 passenger vehicles in New York. More than 20 schools in New Jersey delayed opening this morning, allowing parents to take their time to drive carefully. Forecasters say some areas could get up to 4 inches of rain through tomorrow morning.
The lockdown has been lifted at Bolsa Grande High School in Garden Grove. The school was locked down, then evacuated this afternoon when a note indicating a bomb threat was found on campus. Students were escorted to a nearby park where parents could pick them up. Police checked out all the classrooms but did not find any explosives. The bomb threat comes just 2 days after fire raced through the school, damaging 8 classrooms. Classes will resume tomorrow. Protesters who took to the streets of Los Angeles following deadly police-involved incidents in Ferguson, Missouri and New York City voiced their concerns at an LA Police Commission hearing today. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda shows us what they had to say.
It's got to stop. In the face of all this violence, including against the demonstrators.
There was tension at this meeting of the police commission, the first since demonstrations and arrests on the streets of Los Angeles. More than 300 people arrested over 3 days.
I was arrested the day before Thanksgiving, and I did nothing but exercise my right. I need those charges to be dropped.
The violence was not incited by protesters, but by the police.
At the meeting, a few people started to talk from the audience, and the commission president told them that was not allowed.
That's the process. That's what's called mutual respect, and that's what we're going to have here. If you talk again, I'm going to ask that you leave.
Drone free LAPD, no drone LA.
In addition to this, there was a rally against the use of drones by the LAPD. They say it's all part of the department's civil rights violations.
There's no question that Los Angeles struggles with community distrust of law enforcement, and that distrust informs the community's fear of police surveillance technology like drones.
The LAPD received drones from the Seattle Police Department and is studying the issue, but says at this moment it's not using them. People here say they simply want more accountability.
We're asking for concrete measures such as body cameras and more training for officers on diffusing tense situations without violence.
The council president approves of the way officers handled the protests.
I think that the people who are objecting have a court system to go through, and one at a time, and can take their grievances.
Soborov says the LAPD is a model across the country for community policing, but during these times it needs to continue to build trust in the community. Reporting from downtown Los Angeles, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Federal investigators are set to arrive in Los Angeles to help determine what caused yesterday's massive fire in downtown. The 7-story Da Vinci apartment building was under construction and has since been reduced to rubble and ash. Tomorrow, a team of nearly 20 ATF agents will join the investigation and begin to walk through the burned-out site.
When you look at all 7 stories, it totals up to 1.3 million square feet that we got to canvass to determine where the fire originated and what was the cause.
The fire in the 900 block of West Temple Street also damaged at least 2 adjacent city-owned buildings. Today, city employees were escorted by firefighters up to their offices to retrieve what they need to continue their work. And the former mayor of Murrieta today pleaded not guilty to felony drunken driving. Alan Long was arrested in October after a collision that injured 4 high school cheerleaders. He resigned from office following his arrest, but was re-elected to another 4-year term a few weeks later. Long is also an Anaheim Fire Department battalion chief. Today, a judge told the 44-year-old he can't drink alcohol while free on bail. A lawsuit has been filed on behalf of the girls.
New concern tonight over potential terrorist retaliation after a new report says the CIA tortured terror suspects. The tactics included confinement to small boxes, weeks of sleep deprivation, simulated drowning, and threats to kill, harm, or sexually abuse family members of the captives. The measures were taken in an effort to gain information.
This is what the summary of the 6,000 pages look like.
The scathing Senate report casts a dark cloud over the Central Intelligence Agency.
At no time did the CIA's coercive interrogation techniques lead to the collection of intelligence on an imminent threat that many believe was the justification for the use of these techniques.
Senator Dianne Feinstein chairs the committee that looked into the CIA's harsh interrogations of terrorist detainees following 9/11. She calls the agency's techniques ineffective and deeply flawed. The report also indicates the techniques used in the CIA program were far more brutal than was relayed to lawmakers and the public. Senator John McCain, who was tortured in Vietnam as a prisoner of war, says torture does not work.
And as the committee's report makes clear, it produced little useful intelligence to help us track down the perpetrators of 9/11 or prevent new attacks and atrocities. I know from personal experience that the abuse of prisoners will produce more bad than good intelligence.
The CIA calls the report flawed and its interrogation program effective. Today, Congressman Adam Schiff, also a member of the Intelligence Committee, says the harsh methods were not in line with the nation's values. He released this statement. America does not torture. That is not who we are nor who we want to be. But America did torture, and it is vital that we never do so again.
Even though former President George W. Bush approved the program in 2002, he wasn't briefed by the CIA about the details in 2006. And at that time, Bush expressed discomfort with some of the treatment of the detainees. President Obama has said he will not prosecute those who engaged in enhanced interrogation techniques.
Up next here at 7 o'clock, a jet smashing into a suburban neighborhood. What we just learned and what a heroic parent inside the home was trying to do.
Plus, a scam warning. A woman in her 60s tries dating for the first time in years. How it cost her more than $60,000. And a Rubik's Cube helps a magician get out of a ticket. The must-see video at Eyewitness News at 11 on LA56 at 7 returns. You got it. A tragic plane crash outside Washington, D.C. The jet slamming into a home, killing everyone on board and a young family inside. And tonight, investigators are looking into what may have caused this crash. ABC's Jim Avila now with the new clues.
I just saw a jet hit a house.
And this sudden inferno is what came next. Captured in new video just moments after the twin-engine private jet dove cockpit first a mile short of the runway.
He went straight down into that house.
The man behind the home video, Scott Mansu, arrived alongside police and before firefighters. Yeah. Explosions all around, and inside the crippled fuselage, 3 dead.
There's one strapped in his seat and one right under the plane.
Scott knew from the flames more victims were likely.
And it was really hot, so anybody in that house would have been in trouble.
Inside that burning house, Marie Grimmel and her 2 sons, all found in a windowless bathroom. The desperate mom still shielding her 3-year-old and her baby with her own body. No one survived.
She's just the most amazing, sweetest, kindest woman.
Her bravery touching the nation, a donation website raising more than $250,000 so far. Marie's husband posting late today, no words can describe the enormity of our loss and sadness. The outpouring of support has been overwhelming. The NTSB now focused on possible pilot error, the plane just not moving fast enough to fly, and there's no evidence of a bird strike in those engines. Jim Avila, ABC News, Gaithersburg, Maryland.
The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are wrapping up their tour of New York. The royal couple ended their trip at a black tie event at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It was all part of a scholarship fundraiser for their alma mater, St. Andrews. Earlier in the day, Prince William and Kate visited the September 11th Museum, the Empire State Building, and a youth development program. This was the royal couple's first official visit to New York City.
How would you like to make a traffic ticket magically disappear? Meet a magician who did just that using a Rubik's Cube to dazzle some New York police officers who pulled him over.
And go. 1, 2, 3. Little ladder.
That's 23-year-old Stephen Brundage. He solves the cube in 20 seconds, impressing the cops, but he was just getting started.
Good, but you said 1 second, right? Yeah. So I'm going to show you the 1 second cheating move, so I want you to watch close. We're going to mix it up. Cheating happens when you toss it in the air like that. Second part.
How did you do that?
Oh my gosh.
Brundage says that he had been pulled over for going 42 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone, but after doing the trick, abracadabra, no ticket. He posted the video on YouTube this weekend. It's already gotten 500,000 views. Hopefully it won't get the cops in trouble.
At least he didn't show the police officers.
Right.
But oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I don't know how he did it.
I don't either. Jonathan's like studying
I love
the
that
video.
stuff, and I wish he would. Like I said, he would have broken out of the handcuffs, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
I don't know.
Guys, we have some heavy rain, flooding, snow, everything coming in with the storm that we're expecting later this week. We asked for it, and we are getting it. We needed the rain, and the whole state is under the gun with this one. This is another big storm. Strong, very powerful winds coming through with this one. Live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. Yes, we are dry now, but zoom out. We've got some shower activity already in the Pacific Northwest, edging down toward the northern portions of California. But the real strong, heavy rainfall is going to be later on, in about 48 hours from now, a little less than that. That's when it's poised to make its move through Southern California. All right, so for today, let's get to a quick recap, I should say, of what happened today. We were at 76. It was another warm one. Normally we're at 68, and it's a mild evening. We got about a day of this left before things start cooling down, so enjoy the warmer weather while it is here. High pressure is giving us that warmer weather, but it's moving away, it's weakening, and in its place will be a trough of low pressure that will move in, and that's going to be barreling in Thursday night into Friday. Ahead of it, let me show you what's going to happen with the timing, what's going to happen in terms of how much rain and snow, and when it all happens in that future rainfall forecast starting tonight. Watch the winds. This is this evening and through Wednesday. You'll see late Wednesday into Thursday, the wind starts shifting to the southeast. With that strong flow, and this is early Thursday morning, those winds will really kick up, and this is moisture. That's all going to be pumping in ahead of the front with this system. So through Thursday, very strong winds over the mountains, and even some light shower to moderate shower activity possible ahead of the front. Then when the front comes through Thursday night into Friday, especially by about 2 a.m. until about 9, 10 a.m., that's when this band of rain, heavy showers, and snow will move through. That's when we see the real frontal system move through and the rain start accumulating and the flash flood potential. This is 7 a.m. on Friday. You see snow, heavy snow in the high Sierra. They could see a couple of feet of snow. We could see upwards of 10 or 11 inches of snow over the elevations around 5,000 to 6,000 feet by Saturday morning. The bulk of the activity will be Friday morning. Once the front passes Friday afternoon, we have some lingering shower activity behind it through the rest of Friday. And again, the winds are going to be strong. We have high wind watches already in effect, and it looks like those will kick into a high wind warning going in through the Thursday-Friday time frame. So heavy rain from 4 a.m. to noon on Friday. That's when the heaviest will happen. Possible street flooding, 1 to 4 inches of rain in the foothills. We see the highest elevations, the highest accumulations, I should say. Of course, that means more car accidents, mud flows, and then again, heavy snow is possible above 7,000 feet. Powerful winds gusting over 65. Even in the highest of elevations, 90, 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts are possible. Yeah. 7-day forecast, LA Metro and Orange County. Here you go. 73, a nice day tomorrow, some morning clouds, but then things change up on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The rain moves in a little bit on Thursday around the foothills, and then Thursday night, Friday, we have that band move through upwards of a couple of inches on Friday, and then through Saturday morning, and then we start tapering it off. Sunday looks good, okay? Valleys, i.e. a 50% shot at some showers on Thursday. Flooding will be a real issue with this storm. 2 to 4 inches of rain on Friday, and then a slight chance for that to continue on through Saturday. Temperatures in the 60s throughout the weekend. The beaches, heavy rain for you as well. Everybody can expect that. 1 to 1.5 inches on Friday, and then we have a break On Sunday, we have another system to look forward to by next week as well, which is good. We need this. The mountains, again, we're looking for snow, mainly above 7,000 feet, but as you get in through Saturday morning, that snow level will drop to about 5,000 to 6,000 feet. So that's good news. Get some snow out there, maybe even upwards of 10, 11 inches. And the high desert, looking for some rain, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And again, guys, the bulk of this will be the first half of Friday, but on each side of that, we still have some light rain to contend with as well.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
It seemed like a whirlwind romance that started at an online dating site. It turned out to be a very costly scam. Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Freyers tells us how one woman got taken for thousands of dollars and how other online daters can protect themselves.
They met through the dating website Match.com. A Huntington Beach woman in her mid-60s who did not want to be identified, and a man who said all the right things.
She said he used the phrase, "I love you," basically swept her off her feet. And for someone who hadn't dated in quite some time, it was very emotional for her, and she gave into it.
Police say the couple texted and talked by phone but never met in person. He convinced her to use prepaid Green Dot cards, which she loaded with cash. Once she gave him the serial number off the back, her money was in his hands, about $64,000 in just 3 months.
She drained her savings account, and then she took out a loan on her credit card, and after that was maxed out, she applied for a loan. She went back, applied for a second loan, and that was denied.
Police are now trying to track down the suspect who used a fake name and address.
Police urge people to follow the warnings on Match.com, which include do not give money to anybody.
I feel she's been bamboozled, and I really want to caution people to be a lot more careful, especially like in the areas of the heart. You just get sucked in. It's a shame.
In Huntington Beach, Eileen Freyer, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Up next, don't want to pay full price on Amazon.com. Now the new way you can make an offer, what you need to know before you shop. Plus this.
We had no clue what was going on, and in the back, apparently, this woman was giving birth.
Shock and joy on board a Southwest jet when a passenger gives birth during the flight. Internet retail giant Amazon.com has a new bargain button for shoppers that allows them to make an offer for a lower price than what the seller is asking. The seller then has the option of accepting, rejecting, or countering the offer. The Make an Offer button is only available for Amazon's fine art, collectible coins, and entertainment and sports collectibles. Amazon says about 150,000 items are now eligible for this new service.
NASA's Orion spacecraft is back on dry land at Naval Base San Diego. This spaceship, which could someday carry astronauts to Mars, was put through an unmanned test flight last week. It ended with a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean about 600 miles southwest of San Diego. A Navy ship recovered the capsule and brought it to the dock today.
Really, the Navy's return to manned spaceflight, we haven't done this in almost 40 years, and we're back. So it's been a real thrill for all of us to do that.
Orion's next flight is 4 years away, and it could be 7 years before it carries astronauts into space.
The evening's top stories next at 7:30, including nurses walk off the job at one local hospital, forcing some patients to be taken to other facilities.
And district attorneys for LA and San Francisco are suing the rideshare company Uber. Next, and Eyewitness at 7:30.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 7:30, what first looked like a tragic car accident involving two young children may have been a murder-suicide. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
No, David Ona, this is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. And Alan Edwards and his two children, 5-year-old Alona and 9-year-old Eric, were killed when the Honda they were in slammed into the back of a parked big rig early yesterday morning. Investigators say there were no skid marks On the road, and family friends tell us Edwards was on the losing end of a nasty custody battle over his children and was being forced out of his house.
With heavy rain expected this week, crews are trying to get ahead of the storm by cleaning out the debris basins in Los Angeles County, starting with Glendora. Public Works crews today began hauling away massive amounts of mud and rock from a main basin. Officials say they're confident the basin will do its job to protect communities.
Another big story tonight. Nurses go on strike at San Bernardino County's Arrowhead Regional Medical Center in Colton. Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan reports on the nurses' demands and the county's response.
1, 2, 3, 4, get your nurses on the board.
The strike started at 7 o'clock this morning and is planned to run until 7 o'clock Thursday morning. The main issue, pay.
Unfortunately, we make 30% less than other hospitals in the area.
Consequently, once nurses are trained here, the union says most of them leave for better paying jobs.
That's not conducive to safe patient care. It really isn't.
But San Bernardino County says, remember, these publicly paid nurses will get a pension, something the county says they probably wouldn't get in the private sector.
What the nurses want right now in terms of wages are something that the taxpayers just can't afford coming out of a recession.
As you might imagine, this strike has caused a lot of frustration for people who came to the hospital for help.
I mean, I can't tell them that they don't deserve it, but at the same time, we need them.
And because there are only a third of the nurses that would normally be here, many patients have been moved.
This has forced the county to move more than 150 patients to hospitals as far away as Blythe, San Diego, San Dimas, Temecula, and some of these were very sick people who probably shouldn't have been transported.
But if there's a real emergency, these nurses say they're ready to help.
So if something happens to a patient right now, if there's a traumatic accident and they need us to come in there, we will immediately drop the signs, run in there, assess the situation, take care of the patient.
So the nurses have been out here picketing since 7 o'clock this morning. Their planned walkout is scheduled to end 7 o'clock Thursday morning. If there's one thing both sides can agree on, it's that they're still very far apart. In Colton, Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The feud between San Bernardino County DA and TV host Jon Stewart has come to an amicable end. Last week, District Attorney Michael Ramos called out Stewart for an error made in a segment on racially motivated police shootings. Stewart was trying to make a point that what happened in Ferguson, Missouri was not an isolated incident. He included Victorville resident Dante Parker as an example, who died while in the custody of San Bernardino County deputies. Parker, however, was not shot. He was tased. His cause of death was later attributed to drugs.
We should not have included Dante Parker, who, according to the county medical examiner, died of a PCP overdose. So I'm sorry about that. We shouldn't have done that.
Despite the laughter, Stewart was frustrated that his mistake took away from the larger issues his show was trying to tackle. Afterwards, Ramos tweeted, "Thanks for the apology, and yes, we can respectfully agree to disagree. Our larger point still stands. Hashtag police lives matter."
An explosive report from the Senate Intelligence Committee revealing brutal details of the CIA's use of torture. It says interrogations of terror suspects were harsher than Congress or the public ever knew. The report reveals humiliating abuse, physical assaults, and death threats. And it rejects claims the treatment helped prevent terror plots and save American lives.
Its use was shameful and unnecessary, and contrary to assertions made by some of its defenders, and as the committee's report makes clear, it produced little useful intelligence to help us track down the perpetrators of 9/11 or prevent new attacks and atrocities.
Former CIA officials, members of the Bush administration, and some Senate Republicans say the report doesn't tell the whole picture and could endanger CIA personnel and future intelligence operations.
The local couple just cleared in the death of their adopted daughter, and Qatar is now suing the company that sent them there. Matt and Grace Wong were allowed to leave Qatar last week after being held for nearly 2 years. They had been accused of starving their adopted daughter. The lawsuit claims that Matt Huang's employer engineering company MWH failed to provide security or cultural training in a country where adoption is illegal and mixed-race families are not widely accepted. MWH says it spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on Matt Huang's defense and denies that it fired him.
The LA County District Attorney files a lawsuit against the Uber ride-sharing company, claiming regulations are being violated. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson has more on the allegations and Uber's response.
For Uber, we're asking for them to tell the truth about their background checks.
LA County DA Jackie Lacey is joining San Francisco's DA in suing ride-sharing company Uber. They say Uber's claims that their drivers are the safest on the road are simply not true.
They are not doing the background checks that the law requires them to do.
They also say Uber would charge drivers a misleading $4 airport toll to go to SFO Airport in San Francisco, even though the money never went to the airport. Uber says that it is a safe and established part of California's transportation ecosystem. Uber says it has met with the DAs to address their concerns about the app and, quote, we will continue to engage in discussions with the district attorney. Meanwhile, Uber's main competitor, Lyft, has agreed to settle with the DAs.
I applaud Lyft for recognizing its corporate responsibility and for its willingness to work with law enforcement.
Lyft is changing policies and agreeing to pay $500,000 worth of civil penalties. In a statement, Lyft says, quote, after months of productive conversations, Lyft has entered into an agreement with the district attorneys of San Francisco and LA that demonstrate our shared commitment to consumers and innovations. We ask consumers if the lawsuit would change their opinion about Uber.
I would still use it. I don't really trust the taxi background checks. Having that extra layer of security would kind of provide that, sense of comfort.
I think that it's still fine service.
I would not probably want to use Uber because they're lying.
District Attorney Lacey told me that there's no official court date set yet for that legal fight with Uber. She said that she's in negotiations currently with the ride-sharing company Sidecar. That's why there's no lawsuit being filed against them. Reporting from downtown Los Angeles, Alex Michelson, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And the city of Los Angeles takes action to tax short-term rentals advertised online. Thousands of people offer short-term rentals for their Los Angeles properties on Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, and similar websites. The city council today voted to notify those advertisers that they are required to pay hotel taxes to the city.
A passenger goes into labor right after a Southwest Airlines flight takes off from San Francisco and then gives birth in flight. As Eyewitness News reporter Darsha Phillips tells us, the plane had to be diverted after the high-flying delivery.
Passengers on a Southwest plane from San Francisco to Phoenix got a lot more than they bargained for.
It's a really cool thing, and they're okay as far as I know.
Almost as soon as the wheels were up, a woman went into labor and actually gave birth.
Never thought I'd experience that. Yeah, everyone was saying the same thing. It's just amazing to have that happen on a plane.
Passengers could hardly believe their eyes, but say everyone kept their composure.
You heard a baby cry. Lady stood up and said she just had a baby.
No one freaked out. No, it was all very calm. It was really amazing how calm it was and how many people came to help.
Luckily, an emergency room nurse and a doctor were on board and assisted with the delivery.
The woman sitting there calmly turns around, she goes, she just gave birth. And we're like, yeah. So we had a little blanket and we're like, here, take it.
Passengers took to social media using hashtag #InFlightBaby and baby on board. The plane was diverted to Los Angeles and paramedics were waiting at LAX.
Both the mother and the child were doing absolutely well. Hey, it's not very often that we are arriving to Los Angeles International Airport to accept a newborn baby that was delivered in flight.
A lot of firsts for everyone, including the little bundle of joy who has already checked baby's first flight off its list.
Darsha Phillips, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Amazing video up next here at 7. A surveillance camera catches a brazen bank heist customers with their hands up. The robbers filling a bag with cash. Now an all-out manhunt for the robbers.
Plus, we're taking you on the red carpet for the premiere of The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies.
And this is some of the last sun you'll see for, well, a couple of days. We've got rain coming for the forecast. Details on a very strong storm system ahead in your 7-day. Stay tuned.
scathing new criticism of the University of Virginia over its handling of sexual assaults on campus and on the issue in general. Senators Claire McCaskill and Kristen Gillibrand testified before a Senate Judiciary Subcommittee focusing on the role of law enforcement in campus sexual assault cases. Senator Gillibrand said the controversy over a Rolling Stone story on an alleged gang rape at a UVA fraternity should not distract from the bigger picture.
UVA has admitted that they have allowed students who have confessed to sexually assaulting another student to remain on campus. That is and remains shocking. More importantly, it has never been about this one school, and it is painfully clear that colleges across the country have a real problem in how they're handling or not handling cases of sexual assault on their campuses.
Gillibrand is co-sponsoring a bill that would force colleges to have a policy with local law enforcement over handling of rape cases.
Turning to Newtown, Connecticut, where the parents of half the victims in the Sandy Hook massacre plan to file wrongful death lawsuits. Court records show that parents of 10 of the 20 murdered first graders have created estates for their children, which are required in order to file a wrongful death suit. A court clerk says most of the parents checked a box indicating that they intend to file such a suit, though it's unclear who they would target. This Sunday will be the second anniversary of the massacre. 2 years is the statute of limitations for most civil cases.
A manhunt is underway in New York where two suspects held up a bank. The men pulled a gun on a teller and you could see customers with their hands up in the air. The suspects then later took a hostage inside the vault where they filled a bag up with money. They later took off unidentified.
Anyone lose a sheep wearing a festive Christmas sweater? This guy was found wandering around neighborhoods in Omaha, Nebraska. The Nebraska Humane Society says it's healthy and doesn't seem to mind the sweater. However, they point out the sheep has a thick coat, so it probably doesn't need it. If the Humane Society is unable to find the owner, the sheep will be put up for adoption.
Oh, I hope the owner finds. Clearly, that sheep is very well taken care of.
Do you wonder if that sweater is made of wool?
Oh, I don't know. That was very good. I like the sweater. Very sweet.
Cute. Up next, a look ahead to another major storm heading our way. And when will the rain, wind, snow, and the cold arrive? Meteorologist Jonathan Novak has his complete forecast straight ahead.
And Magic Johnson has some harsh words for the Lakers coming up in sports. What the Laker great is hoping the team does.
Joan Rivers left her daughter Melissa in charge of her fortune and left money for some of her favorite charities. Rivers' will was made public today and estimates her wealth to be somewhere around $150 million. She left money to several charities, including Guide Dogs for the Blind, the Simon Wiesenthal Center, and the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Rivers died in September following complications from a throat procedure.
The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, is holding its Hollywood premiere at the Dolby Theater tonight. Peter Jackson's third and final installment of the Hobbit series will wrap up with the story of Bilbo Baggins and the hobbits, dwarves, elves, wizards, and dragons he met along the way of his adventures. It started 15 years ago with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Actor Orlando Bloom has been part of the experience from the beginning.
It's been crazy to think that I was 21 when I got cast and moved out to New Zealand. I'm 37 now, so puts it slightly in perspective. But yeah, it's bittersweet. I hope Pete feels a huge sense of achievement at this point, because I'm feeling a little bit of that, and very grateful to just have been on the ride, really.
The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies is in theaters next Wednesday, December 17th.
A wayward bunny joins the LA County Fire Department, at least temporarily. It was discovered in the middle of the street by a family driving in Gardena this morning. They turned it in to the local fire station. Firefighters suspect it's somebody's pet that got loose, clearly. And they're hoping the owners are watching this.
It's extremely mellow, docile, playful, likes to be petted, likes to eat spinach and cilantro. I'm a little curious, but really well behaved, really sweet.
Firefighter Manzanares says she will take the rabbit home for now, and if the owners aren't found, it will be turned over to animal control.
Again, another animal very well taken care of, so let's hope that their owners are watching.
It looks just like a Dalmatian. It fits in perfectly for the fire department, right?
Clever.
And soon it will be 101 of them.
And that is correct. There will be. Now have to deal with that. Hey, we got to deal with some rain, some snow, really strong winds. The system coming in Thursday night and Friday especially. The first half of Friday, your commute is going to be a washout. We're going to be covering it for you and keeping you posted. The weather today, though, was fantastic. A quick look at our time-lapse Angeles National Forest there. The sun, that's kind of today kind of the last day that you'll be seeing the sunshine. Tomorrow, some clouds, some sun, be kind of a mix. And then really tomorrow night, things start getting cloudy ahead of the system. Right now, just some rain with a warm front that's moving up north in the Pacific Northwest. We're waiting here about another 36 to 48 hours before the rain arrives. In the meantime, it's warm. It's partly cloudy. It's 63 right now in LA, 64 Santa Monica. Really nice night. A little cool over in Big Bear, of course, but temperatures right there, 38. That's going to be your high as we go in through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 38. It's going to be cold. It's going to be snowy. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be everything. We've got it all in there for you. In fact, a blizzard warning. This is the central portion of the state, central coast up toward the northern counties, and we have a blizzard warning for the High Sierra already in effect for tomorrow on through Friday. A flash flood watch in effect for the coastal counties tomorrow night through Friday. That's when the rain arrives and the snow arrives for the northern portion of the state tomorrow night. Then another 24 hours later, we start feeling the impacts. We're going to see snow. We're going to see in the mountains potentially up to a foot. We're going to see rain potentially up to 4 inches in the foothills. In the meantime, high pressure is our weather maker. It's sliding away from us. It's moving away and it's weakening. And in its place will be low pressure. And that's going to move in again Thursday into Friday. Ahead of it, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to show you this on the future rainfall. You'll see the winds change to the southeast and really start kicking in Thursday, all right? Thursday in the late morning and the afternoon time, very strong winds through the mountains. Could see gusts over 60, 70 miles an hour. And some rain along with it, all that moisture pumping in. That's the front. That's Prague to head in Thursday night into Friday. Watch the timeline here. Friday, 6, 7 a.m., the rain over L.A. and Ventura counties, snow over the Sierra up to 2, 3 feet, and for us up to about 10 inches of snow. And the freezing level will drop Friday night into Saturday, so we'll actually see some of that snow linger on through Saturday morning. And then the rain moves through late Friday morning. It clears, the main rain band clears Friday morning, but we have so much instability behind the front. We'll have rain on and off throughout the day, it looks like Friday into Friday night, potentially up to 4 inches by the foothills. This is going to be an issue in the burn areas, mud flows, flooding. out in the roadways, stay home if you can, and then we have the snow. Thankfully, finally, some snow for the local mountains, some heavy snow above 7,000 feet, powerful winds over 65 miles an hour, and again, flash flooding will be a real issue on Friday. So here's that 7-day forecast. Let's put it all together for you. Tomorrow, a nice day, the last of it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday are going to be cloudy, and especially Thursday, Friday are going to be wet, and the first half of Friday is when the bulk of it really falls. 1 to 2 inches of rain in LA, the highs only in the mid-60s. We get another system for Monday, Tuesday, by the way, we'll be keeping you posted on. Valleys, i.e., 2 to 4 inches of rain, flash flooding, potentially big issue. Looks like it will be, especially in the first half of Friday. Beaches, 1 to 1.5 inches of rain, highs stuck in the 60s throughout, and the mountains, a snow level 7,000 feet, but dropping to 5 to 6,000 feet. Friday night into Saturday, we could see 10, 11 inches of snow. Crossing our fingers for that. The high desert, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain with this system. Highs dropping down into the 50s. We're keeping you posted. We're watching this one closely. It's going to be a strong system, guys, and we're watching it for you right here in the Weather Center.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
The Lakers have been struggling of late, losing 3 straight. Most of their struggles have come defensively, allowing 100 or more points in 7 of 9 games. They will try and stop their slide tonight against Sacramento. Full highlights at Eyewitness News at 11 p.m. on ABC7. In the meantime, after signing Kobe Bryant to a 2-year extension last year, Lakers general manager Mitch Kupchak believes that will be it for the Black Mamba. In an interview with NBA.com, Kupchak says, all indications are that this deal will be the last for Kobe. It was, or has, widely been thought that these would be the last 2 years for Kobe, but you never know with KB. Now, Magic Johnson was at a speaking engagement in New York today where he told the audience the Lakers should lose every game the rest of the season. That's according to Newsday, a Long Island newspaper. The Lakers' record right now is 5-16. They're one of 7 teams who have 5 or less wins this season. Magic says, quote, if you're going to lose, you have to lose because you can't be in the middle of the pack. You have to be bad to get a good draft pick. Baseball now. Free agent pitcher John Lester was expected to announce where he will be playing next year, but so far no dice for him as well. Lester is deciding between the Dodgers, the Giants, the Red Sox, and the Cubs. The Giants GM said earlier he believes San Fran has taken a back seat to the negotiations, while rumor is Lester will decide between the Cubs and the Red Sox. Meantime, the Dodgers squashed the rumor that Dee Gordon is available. Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton is in a Charlotte hospital tonight with 2 fractures of his lower back. His truck flipped over several times following a 2-vehicle accident in the team stadium earlier this morning. The 25-year-old former Heisman Trophy winner was alert but in pain when he was transported to the hospital. The driver of the other vehicle was also hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries.
And we have some breaking news out of Long Beach right now. Air 7 HD over the scene of a fire at a high-rise building. Right now we're being told that the fire is on the 17th floor of the building on the 100 block of West Ocean Boulevard. Again, this is in Long Beach. No word on the exact location in the sense of what building this is, what it houses, what the fire started. We do see a big amount of response from emergency officials, but we don't see a lot of flames coming out of the building right now. But again, this fire is right now on the 17th floor on the 100 block of West Ocean Boulevard. No word on what is on that floor, the 17th floor, but again, firefighters are out there trying to battle this fire, and we will try to bring you the very latest at 11 o'clock on ABC7.
More news straight ahead here at 7:30.
And ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Jonathan warned us the storm is headed our way. What you need to know to get ready for the rest of the week. Plus, it's one of the most anticipated movies of the season. Tonight we are on the red carpet with the stars of The Hobbit, The Battle of the 5 Armies. These stories and all the late breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Let's get a smile.
Santa paid an early visit to some kids at Harbor UCLA Medical Center today, and he brought some pretty snazzy holiday hats with him. Santa's visit was organized by Happy Hats for Kids in Hospitals, a nonprofit that works to make sure kids will enjoy the holiday season, even if they're having to spend it in the hospital. Hundreds of volunteers sew and decorate the hats. Santa also handed out some toys and books to the kids.
Elf activists joined forces with environmentalists to protect an elf habitat in Iceland. The group blocked bulldozers building a new highway through a lava field outside the capital. The lava field is believed to contain a settlement of invisible elves. No joke. Many people in Iceland believe in elves, due in part to the country's harsh weather, rugged landscape, and isolation from the rest of the world. The protest was taken to the Supreme Court of Iceland, which ruled the road construction should continue. However, the company has ordered to save the elf church, which is a huge lava rock.
If you don't save the elf habitat, then they'll disappear like they have in America.
How do you know? We just haven't.
Oh, I haven't seen an elf here.
Me neither.
The habitat is gone. Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7:30 and LA56 Law and Order. SVU is next.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. And remember, you can get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter and downloading our ABC7 app. Good night.